Clinic result data. This will be a presentation of the data gathered by Alex Anderson, Evan Flanagan, Keith Carlson, Dilshan Mendes, and many others, and see how it relates to each other and what conclusions can be drawn from the data that we collected from the Free Clinic of Southwest Washington. To start, we decided as a class to use the Free Clinic of Southwest Washington. Now, the Affordable Care Act, the ACA, a lot of people are worried about how it will affect free clinics, because free clinics are still a very big thing because some people simply can't afford insurance. And with the Affordable Care Act, these clinics might shut down, but who knows what's going to happen. So it's worth researching to see what people like about free clinics so much and see how it can influence the Affordable Care Act. Now, for a brief overview, the Free Clinic of Southwest Washington is completely locally funded by benefactors, by goodwill organizations, and they receive no funding, just purely donations. Now, we went to the clinic and found that they have a very tight operation. Even though it's all volunteered, it's all the stuff in their clinic is donated to them, which is incredibly impressive. The doctors there, they are there as volunteers. They do not get paid. So, how does this relate to the ACA? We wanted to find out who visits the free clinic to see if there's some trend that can be found when looking for people that might benefit from the ACA, might not. So what we did was we created a survey. It was 22 questions long. We minorly used Qualtrics to build the survey, but mostly it was a student group-led effort to pinpoint specific questions to find out pure demographics of who uses free clinics. Now, we put that survey out there for the free clinic to hand out and say, hey, can you please fill this out? And we got some back, and what we found was that there were some obvious trends and others were very unclear. For the analysis, we found that more males visit the free clinic than females, and that it's predominantly white and Hispanic, which is typical of this area. Now, the interesting thing to note is that a lot of biracial people are there and a lot of US-born citizens are here, which is very common, especially given this area. We also noticed that there is almost nobody visiting the clinic in ages 18 to 24, but it actually drops to 14.9% for both 25 to 34 and 35 to 44. Now, why is this? We think that since the ACA changed the insurance time on younger people, that a lot of more people are falling off insurance and just can't afford insurance after the age of 24, because that is the cutoff to where you can stay on your parents' insurance plan as a minor or legal adult or whatever. Another thing we found is that there are significantly more single people coming in than married people. A conclusion can be drawn that it's harder to pay for insurance when you are alone, which is sort of expected. Spouses get more benefits on insurance if you are married. When looking at the bulk of the data, the majority of the patients are between the ages of 25 and 34, which supports the ACA cutoff theory. A little bit more than half of the patients are unemployed, which is also expected because if you don't have a job or you have a low-paying job, you will make sacrifices, and one of that sacrifices is to not go to the doctor, not go for checkups, dental, and all of that. And speaking of dental was the most rarely used service all around, not just at the night. This might be because statistically the first health service that people on a fixed or limited income drop is dental, and unless there's a tooth falling out or there's massive decay, nobody goes in for the dental checkup just because it's a cost that's easily incurred, and it's easier to just brush and floss rather to take care of your teeth than to go in just for a checkup. As for satisfaction, Data showed that the vast majority, in fact 87% of the people that filled out the surveys were incredibly satisfied with the coverage that the free clinic grants. Now there's a small percentage of people that were just mediocre, were satisfied to a mediocre level, so that may be cause for some concerns. But who knows why they are, maybe there was a bad call, but for the most part 87% satisfaction is very good, which compared to other doctors, you have to sit, you wait for a minute, and you only see the doctor for 5 minutes. Maybe there's something different with the free clinics and people willingly volunteering their time where they're more empathetic to their patients, so therefore they want to talk more or something like that. To go over some recommendations, some problems we ran into were that the tests, when compiling the data from the surveys, that making sure the Excel form is unified, because data reading can only get you so far, but if all your test data miners do use different formats, it becomes just a complete mess that you spend more time trying to unify the data versus actually looking at the data and trying to find results. One thing that we also found was that people did not fill out the questionnaire the entire way through. Many surveys weren't fully completed. They omitted some answers, while some people didn't answer if they are citizens or not, which is expected because there is an immigration problem, so who knows what their motives are behind that because they don't want to say it. And basically, we need more concise data. Maybe wait even longer to gather data from the free clinic, because we don't know if there's a complete demographic we're missing or something. To conclude, the survey did go as planned, but the main thing to draw from this project is that you always need more data to come to a completely stable, suitable conclusion, to find even more in-depth trends. The thing is, some people actively actually avoid treatment of certain things just because they don't want to be seen as helpless. And many groups are, again, underrepresented. We got primarily answers from white people and Hispanics. Now, maybe there's something we're missing with African Americans, Slavics, Native Indians. Maybe there's some other trend we are not seeing, so therefore more data is needed. Another interesting thing to note is that one survey taker said that he can afford insurance. So why does he go to the free clinic? Well, it's free. He's trying to save money. So maybe the ACA isn't accounting for people like this guy who can't afford insurance but chooses not to pay for the current insurance just because it is so ludicrous. So maybe there's something that's another angle to research. But all in all, this survey did go as planned, and with the data we gathered, we can see that there are definite trends in who goes to the Free Clinic of Southwest Washington.